Knoxville and beyond. You're listening to Simmer Down 90.3 The Rock. Doing a little spotlight on reggae DJs for this show tonight. I just spoke with Brendan Dane from Olympic earlier, and now we have Mr. Justin Petro from Dub Architect. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Alex? Thanks for having me.
Not a problem, man. Just an honor to do this show. I've been really wanting to get it this spotlight on the reggae DJs going for a long time because it's just it's kind of a part of. I think Brendan said it earlier. It's a part of our genre that is kind of like missing in a sense,
Absolutely.
But we're still there.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about a few things here. Dub reggae DJs are few and far between in the scene. And you are one of them. You were one of the really good ones, actually. Tell us about Dub Architect.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Dub Architect, I guess, came about probably like 4 or 5 years ago. Pretty much out of a necessity. I was starting to record music and needed to kind of come up with some sort of a producer name for doing that sort of stuff. And pretty much just kind of taught myself a lot of stuff and worked with a couple of other producers from around the country. Matt Mansfield from Piper Street Sound in Atlanta was a big mentor to me.
Yeah.
And, he's a great, he also plays in Dub Conscious.
Yeah,
and
good.
Produced a bunch of albums for them. He's a great guy. But he started to get me into working with Ableton, which is the software that I use for dubbing. And I was really inspired by all the greats like Lee Scratch Perry and King Tubby, Scientist, Mad Professor. The list goes on and on, but I kept, watching YouTube videos of these guys dub mixing and kind of had some gear already and was learning stuff through that and just kind of got some stems from my friends in Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad actually were giving away some stems from their last album, Many Times, and started messing with those, and it kind of just snowballed from there. Took off and started working with more people in the scene, and I've just been super fortunate to get to work with, a bunch of artists that I've just always looked up to.
I mean, for sure, man. And, wow, I had no idea you work with Matt Mansfield. Big ups to Dub Conscious, man. Piper Street, those are my boys. I had no idea you were working with them. Very interesting. I want to...
There may be no Dub Architect without Matt Mansfield, so definitely big up Matt.
For sure, man. I want to talk about a few more things here. It's not just a Dub Architect. You're doing this thing, the Dub Campaign. It's a little project. Talk about that.
Basically, Dub Campaign's, a crew of musicians that I've worked with in the D.C., Northern Virginia area for a while. An all-star group, if you will, of just musicians that I can take the studio dubbing that I'm doing to a live venue, basically. So I've moved what a lot of dub engineers before me, like Scientist and Mad Professor, do mixing bands from the front of the house at the mixing board at the back of the venue, and I've put that on stage and basically do the live effects for all of the different musicians, the drums, the delays and the vocals and saxophone. And I also have just started incorporating playing instruments myself, like melodica and guitar, and doing live looping and stuff. So it's kind of the culmination of all the live dubbing techniques and some newer, electronic musician sort of performance techniques that have been coming, out in the last couple of years.
Very cool, man. Hey, if you guys are just tuning in from either in Knoxville or out of Knoxville, you are listening to Simmer Down 90.3 The Rock. This is DJ Crowley. Doing a little spotlight on reggae DJs tonight. Super stoked on it. I had Mr. Brendan Dane from Olympic calling in first hour. Now we have Justin Petro from Dub Architect. Just really stoked to be able to really start talking about this reggae DJ thing. I think it really needs to be put to the forefront, so I'm working on it as hard as I can. Hey, can you tell me, we're going to get into the future a little bit in a second, but I do want to say this Cali Roots 2014 set that you laid down blew me away. And, we've been spinning it here that first 15 minutes of the 9 o'clock hour. And you started off with Frank Sinatra. How did that come about?
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. That was a hell of an experience. Cali Roots was an awesome festival, awesome experience to get to go play out there last year. The Frank Sinatra song was actually an ode to one of the dub producers that I looked up to, Victor Rice. who worked on Easy Star All Stars Dub Side of the Moon album and still performs that as a live dub set around the world today. He actually has played that song before in live sets, basically to just kind of set the mood for a session. So that was a little homage to him.
Very cool, man. I turned it on. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. What is this all about? And just the flow of that set, front to back.
You can definitely expect some more, Frank Sinatra dubs and non-reggae dubs also to come in the future. I'm definitely looking forward to kind of pushing what dub can mean and like what songs it can apply to.
Yeah, man, and you've got a couple records like EPs, I guess you got online as well as other places. What's in the future? What's the future of Dub Architect? We got some new stuff coming?
Yeah, definitely. I've recently just been dropping dub mixes for people left and right the past couple of months, I guess, and that'll continue coming out with some new songs, a dub mix for Luciano that's in the works, and some other songs. Got one for Revolution off their new album that's going to be coming out. Then I'm going on tour here coming up in California, doing New Year's Eve with the Expendables out in Hermosa Beach, California, and doing a little run from San Diego to LA, so I'm looking forward to that. And then just getting back to the East Coast and working on putting out some original rhythms. Going to be doing some guest features with different vocalists and musicians from around the scene and around the world, and playing a nice show in D.C. with my boys Third World and Jessica from Jamaica February 6th, doing Bunny Ruggs, Bob Marley birthday bash at the 930 Club, which is awesome. I definitely appreciate you having me and Brendan, two guys who have lived in D.C., play there. Definitely hold a high place in that in my heart for D.C., and it's just an honor to be able to play the 930 Club with a band that I've looked up to for so long. So, yeah, man, we got a lot of things in the works, and I'm looking forward to the next year really being a big year for Dub Architect, putting out original music and keep pushing the artists that I'm working with and the dub mixes that I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, everything you're saying is along the lines that Brendan was saying. You guys are working in DC. I think he's in Vegas now, but he went to DC after San Diego, and you were from Charlottesville, I believe. So around the DC area, and then you have Soja, and you have all this reggae and EDM scene. There's so much going on in DC, man. I mean, it's really interesting.
DC's been really popping off the past couple of years. It's been growing. There's been awesome dudes that have been putting it down in DC for years and years before we've been around, and it's just kind of been building, I think, and DC's kind of starting to develop a reggae personality. So got some awesome artists. Kenyatta Hill, I just did a dub mix for Joseph Hill from Culture Sun. Awesome album, Rhythm of Life. I definitely recommend people go check that out, Kenyatta Hill. And definitely there's a bunch of artists from D.C. Brendan, had to dip town and go out to Vegas, so I got to go see him out there soon. But, there's a lot of us still around the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area trying to hold it down and push reggae forward.
That's the goal, isn't it?
Yeah, man, for sure.
Hey, man, before we get to this last question here, I just want to let everybody know that you're listening to Simmer Down 90.3 The Rock. This is DJ Crowley hanging out with the Dub Architect, Justin Petro, one of the DJs, the reggae DJs, and we want to spotlight this tonight and show that, reggae DJs are out there and they're doing their thing. How can people get a hold of you, Justin?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, dubarchitect.com. That's pretty much, everywhere that's out there, you can find me.
Sounds good, man. So I want to ask you one more question here, and it's been a pleasure talking to you, as well as Brendan from Olympic. What a cool night. I've been wanting to set this up for a long time. Actually, you guys, I think you guys did a show at Adrian's Club, New Earth, down in Athens with my boys, Treehouse and Sundried, and I had some press the next day, actually in Atlanta, and they came over. They're like, Zach had your Dub Architect shirt on. I was like, I had no idea he was out there, man. Because we were about to head out there that night. We did some Tribal Seeds press as well as Ballyhoo and Beyond Eyesight. They're also killing it, but really stoked to be able to talk to you, man. I got one more question. usually I say, what does reggae mean to you? But I want to change it a little bit here because of a quote that you had on your website. It's like new ideas of what dub can mean. What does dub mean to you?
Well, dub to me, I guess, means like interacting with music, and that's kind of a big thing that I'm trying to push with the whole Dub Architect thing. I got some really cool things in the works I can't really divulge yet, but a big part of Dub Architect is education, and I really want to teach people that dub, although it can look really complicated on the surface, doesn't have to be, and that it is something that anybody, whether you can pick up an instrument or not, can definitely get down with and have fun with and help them understand music on a deeper level and connect with it on a deeper level. So that's what dub means to me. And it doesn't have to be, I think, my memory's failing me right now. I can't remember if it was Mad Professor Scientist, but one of those guys said, every song has a dub. You just have to find it. And that's so true. It doesn't have to be dubbed. Fear Not and Band, I did a great mix for those guys.
Yes.
It was a blend of metal and reggae. HR would be, and Bad Brains would be proud of them. And that's a perfect example to me of, you can interact, and Frank Sinatra, that one's a good example too. You can interact and manipulate and make new versions of any song. So you just have to find the dub. So hopefully over the next, couple of years, some things are going to fall into place here, and, we're going to push dub to the forefront of the scene in the U.S. and this whole positive vibes movement that is growing in the U.S. around reggae. It's just going to grow bigger and bigger. So I definitely appreciate you having me on and giving me an opportunity, spread the message. And big up for doing what you do.
Thank you so much, Justin. It's been a pleasure doing the spotlight on the reggae DJs. They need the spotlight. You guys, people like you are unbelievable and deserve to be a part of this awesome thing we like to call reggae. Thank you so much, Justin. And hopefully, if you'll be out at Cali Roots, I'll see you out there. If not, tell Matt I said hey.
I'll see you there.
All right, man. Hey, thank you so much. Thanks
very much.
Yeah, that was Justin Petro finishing out our spotlight on reggae DJs, something that needed to be done. It really did. They're so good. They're so talented. And, of course, they're great people because it's reggae music and they're spinning it. And, that's kind of what I do in a sense. But these guys are doing it live in front of the crowd. So super stoked to be able to talk to Brendan Dane from Malefic as well as Justin Petro, Dub Architect. Those guys are leading it. They are leading it, this reggae DJ thing. So he was just talking about this, as actually one of my favorite tracks on this Cali Roots set that he did 2014. And I want to go ahead and play this Fear Nuttin' little mix here. These guys, Fear Nuttin' Band, check out Fear Nuttin' Band. We might play some of them a little bit later. But this is sick. Check it out. Simmer down, Knoxville.